Hip-hop is a culture built by the descendants of Black American slaves, and the music of this culture is entitled rap music. Much like everything else in this country, we built it, but we have no control over it, as the entire industry is in the fangs of culture vultures. This is how hip-hop is often easily co-opted for political agendas. It is a means to reach an audience, the black youth, who don't respond to the typical promotions that people have become accustomed to using. Therefore, you'll see people who have zero interest in rap music pretend to have some kind of commonality. You'll see a Hillary Clinton embarrass herself by trying to do the dab. You'll see Kamala Harris trying to go viral by dancing to Cardi B. It is the young people equivalence to politicians only going to black churches when it's an election year. Instead of giving tangibles to our people, they make these empty gestures and say that they're better than their counterparts. But that isn't the only variation of how hip-hop is politicized. See, hip-hop is rooted in being anti-political because we as a people are gentrified, neglected, abused, murdered, etc., sanctioned by this law still to this day. So naturally, artists within rap music will express this. This is how an act like NWA can make songs like F the Police. It's how acts like Public Enemy could be as successful as they were. And this breed of MC still exists to this day in the likeness of J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and more. Now, I wish this current generation were better in tune with the realities of our people, but their hearts are in the right places for the most part. See, there are scholars that dedicate their lives to understanding complex things like the racist system that we are currently under. So it's understandable that for people who spend their entire life trying to be successful at music, to not be well versed in the political struggle. So for all those who say that they don't like it when their music is deep or political, this game has been political from the jump, for better or worse. So recently, Cardi B been in all of the political headlines. While the government was shut down, she did a simple Instagram post speaking about how wrong it was for the government workers to be having to work for free. And I have nothing against what she said, but wasn't it more of a Captain Obvious thing to say? That wasn't exactly all that deep. I mean, if she offered some reasonable solutions, that would have been something. As a descendant of slaves, I will never take things like this lightly, and the press was all over this from day one because it was the biggest story from day to day. So I ask you, why is it that post off of Instagram went so viral? To the point that the Tonight Show will have her on the live to rebut the State of the Union. Nothing about Cardi B says that she's well versed in politics, so outside of her making herself into a punchline, it doesn't make much sense until you realize when running for office, politicians will need about 2 years in order to run and win. So do you think that there's any coincidence that Kamala Harris, who recently announced that she's running, chose Cardi B as her surrogate to the black youth? Let me tell you about Kamala though. She's pretending to like black people, but while she was the Attorney General in California, she sure didn't. Like how she specifically went to trial to protect the identities of the corrupt police officers. Kamala is also being backed by the Democrats and The Late Show, whose jokes and views cater to liberal Democrats. This is political co-opting at its finest, and they couldn't have gotten a better person than Cardi B. The person who will tell you immediately that she isn't black, that Nicki Minaj went in on her for her anti-black woman views, like how she was calling dark-skinned women roaches or monkeys. Yet she happens to have a huge black following. See, Cardi B fits the profile. The mainstream media is going to pick up on anything political that she does because they hope that she can help Democrats regain the black vote without offering anything. Which they can't, but that's a different story. See, this is a shining example of how hip-hop is being co-opted politically by people who don't have the best interests in mind for black people. It is simple and plain on how the American justice system is designed completely against us black Americans. See, you can see it in the FBI statistics and the active policies that are used to criminalize us. So it is no coincidence that many hip-hop artists will speak on such. Given that many of said artists experience poverty, racism, hate, and police brutality, it is only reasonable that the art will reflect on such. Even individuals like Jeezy, who were once limited musically to strictly speaking about drug dealing, would release a politically driven album like The Recession. Jay-Z is an act that started off his career with the persona of a drug dealer that evolved into a business mogul, and now it seems to be in his twilight of his rap career, many of his lyrics are more political. See, these types of songs are the means for many people to make it through the pain of life so that they can cope. Therefore, I love it when you have an act like J. Cole to Wale try to speak on empowering the hip-hop community, but often the political views are off. Like, for example, when mainstream media was pushing the whole "you black people aren't mad about all of the murders in Chicago, but you march against these police murders." Acts like Wale and J. Cole incorporated that into their songs instead of bypassing the obvious racism of these. The correct way to deal with such is, one, to name the numerous black groups that's on the ground levels making a difference, or exposing the fact that black crime is down everywhere, or exposing the fact that there's a lot of white on white crime out there that nobody reports on, or reporting the fact that crystal meth is the biggest drug out there and that's not a black drug, or asking why don't Asians protest the triad, or Italians protest the mob, or why this white media doesn't acknowledge that white supremacist groups infiltrated the police, as said by the FBI. Instead, this generation of artists simply don't get it that crystal meth, again, is the biggest drug of America, but because it's from white dealers and white people using it, they are being treated as addicts instead of how they criminalize crack dealers. If you are going to be in the political arena, you should know what you are talking about, or you should use your platform to promote someone who does, like say a Tariq Nasheed or a Professor Black. And if you don't do this, then you may end up doing more damage than what you actually hope that you would do. The moral to the story is that hip-hop has always been a politically charged culture, but always counter to the mainstream due to how that we have been treated all the way up to this day. This is why when novice listeners say things like, "I don't like it when I hear politics in my music," they expose themselves to being nothing more than sheep following whatever people are promoting to them, or they already have their own agenda. But it saddens me how much our culture is exploited for the benefits of others, how key individuals who don't have a clue or don't have black people's best interests in mind are handpicked for their views that will be perceived as this is hip-hop's view and promoted as this is hip-hop's view, when that is obviously false. Much like everything else, when big interest money gets involved, then you will find people who are willing to betray an entire group. But at the end of the day, man, just realize politics and rap music has been going hand in hand for quite some time. But don't take everything for face value. Always research and understand the politics of why we as a people are struggling, why people out here are pandering to get your vote, and understand those people for the most part are never really good.